What's going on, my babies? Welcome back to another episode of the Spiritual Word. As always, I apologize for any noises in the background in advance and anything of that nature. Sorry if you can hear my fan. Like I said, it's hot. This is going to be on all summer. And also, before I start these, I like to start these off with a disclaimer by stating that these are for entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research to come to your own conclusions, to have your own answers, to make your own decisions, and I believe in your ability to do so to be your own person. So in today's episode, we're going to get into something a little bit more metaphysical and more spiritual, and that is to how to see or how to connect to yourself with the future. Come on. You want to come up here? My cat is trying to get up on my lap. So we're going to get into how you can connect yourself with the future and how you can use this to your advantage. So a lot of the time, people want to be able to fortune tell or to read into the future or something within that realm of, like, whatever you want to call it, right? And so spiritually, I can't directly say this is how you know the future, because it's very relative based. Like it's based relative on your experiences, based relatively to your ability as a human being. And everybody has an innate ability to talk to their past self, right? Like you can go into a meditative state, or you could just simply journal and be like, okay, past self, this is what happened today. Let me give you pieces of information that might be helpful and talk to you from a later point in time to get you to have basically like a hunch on things before they happen. And so I've been doing this for a week, but I've been doing this for a really long time. And sometimes it could be really big intuitive hints. Like, for example, I used to only do this when there was something big happening in my life. Like, for example, if I was moving, I would feel nauseous. And I never understood why I felt nauseous until later in life, right? Until after I moved. And this happens to me every single time that there's like a big change happening in my life. I will feel nauseous, or I'll feel sick, like I'm getting sick, but I'm not sick. And so you can do that. My kid's gonna fall. You can do that, and those are all different types of things that you have the capability of doing. So another thing that you could do that I've been doing for a week is basically sitting down at the end of the night and telling myself, okay, this is what happened throughout the day. And this is pieces of information that might be helpful or might be useful. And something that I've been practicing a lot as well is sending myself specific pieces of information that I want to know about. Like questions that I have about right now, I send myself the pieces of information that I needed before getting to this question. Like, for example, I used to continuously ask myself, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? What's my purpose? And stuff like that. So now I send myself, my past self, a bunch of information directly related to who I am and what my purpose could be, because there's no isolated purpose for me. Like there's not a rule on what my soul's purpose is. And there's no rule to who I am. So because of that, I send myself a bunch of pieces of information that have to do with questions that I previously had for myself, or for the universe, if you want to describe it in a different way. And so I basically have been doing that like a really long time, but for this past week, I'll sit down at the end of the day and tell myself everything that's happened, everything. So like I'll start with, okay, I woke up this time and I told myself wake up at this time because it'll be of a benefit. Like yesterday, I work night shifts, so I get out of work around 2, sometimes 3, normally, depending on the time that I'm scheduled till. Sometimes 4. And so when I feel really, 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 really tired and I want to sleep the whole day until the next time, I'm like, nope, we can't do that. So, like, for example, I sat down yesterday and I was like, okay, past self, wake up at this time so that you can upload a podcast and so that you can stream. Because you want to do both of these things and you're going to have fun doing these things. So let's get up, do these things. Let's shower, brush our teeth, get our, all of our routine done so that we can get that out of the way so that we can stream and upload a podcast and so that we can play games. And then I did that, and it was like an intuitive hint that, like, okay, I need to get up now. When I was laying down in bed, I was like, oh, you know what? Something tells me that I need to get up now. And I know that it's my future self telling me that I should. So then I did that. Did the stream, did the podcast, showered, did all the things, all the hygiene things that I normally do on my day-to-day routine. And then played video games until I literally had to go to work. And when I went to work, I was like, okay, we're gonna do whatever my gut's telling me to do. So I was like, okay. I went inside instead of, normally I'll get to work really, really, really early. And so I'll just chill in my car. Well, chill in the car and wait for my shift to start. Wait till I can clock in. And I was like, you know what? Let's go inside because something tells me it's going to be good for them to see that I'm here early because it'll put their mind at ease, or like my boss's mind at ease, because I'll be inside. They'll be able to see me. And so they know that I'm here and that I'm coming in. And because it's really hot outside, like it's really, really hot. And the car that I take to work doesn't have AC. So I'm like, you know what? It's really, really hot. Let's just go inside. We'll chill on the phone. I literally only had like 10, 15 minutes. So I was like, okay, it's not that long. And I can sit down and not have to be on my feet for a long time. And then I was like, okay, as soon as it was time to clock in, I was like, okay, cool. Let's clock in. Let's go back to, set everything up. And then I went up to the people that are in charge and I was like, where do you guys want me? What am I going to be doing today? And then I go, and it was like the easiest work day that I've had in the past 2 weeks. And that was a very eye-opening experience because it was the easiest day that I had had in 2 weeks, and all because I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do what my ego is wanting to do. I'm just gonna go with the flow and see what my gut is telling me. And normally I'm moving from a place where I'm like, I don't know if this is the right move or not. And yesterday I was like, I know that every move that I'm gonna make today is going to be divinely guided from my higher self, from my future self, from me. So I can trust myself. And then, I was doing things that they didn't even really ask of me. And the person that I was covering for, they had came back from their break. I'm going like step by step. And that was the first thing that I did. They're like, go cover for somebody that's on break. I went, covered, and this person came back. And then I was like, okay, cool. Where do you guys want me? Because there's a lot of people in this specific area. So I know that you guys don't need me right here. Where do you want me? And they're like, oh, okay, go to this area. And it's an even easier area. And I was like, okay, perfect. So then I do that, and I do a couple things that they don't even ask of me. I was like, you know what? I'm going to restock some of this stuff because I know that if I don't do it, someone else is going to come tell me to do it. So I might as well just do it now. And then I go, and I'm restocking, and where I have to go, it's like a freezer. I have to like walk through a fridge to get to a freezer. And at the freezer, there's like boxes and boxes of ice cream sandwiches. And also, before I got to work, there was an ice cream person and a bell. Like, I never see that anymore. And I don't live in somewhere where that was very common. Like, I don't live somewhere where the ice cream man was very, very common. And so when I heard the ice cream through my window as I was streaming, I was like, oh my gosh, ice cream. And the little kid part of me took over and I was like, oh my gosh. And I ran to tell my dad because my dad was chilling in the living room. And I was like, Dad, there's an ice cream person here. Isn't that so crazy? And he's like, oh, go get some. And I was like, I don't have cash. Do you have cash? And he gives me a freaking 50 and he's like, get me something and ask your sister if she wants something. And so we all got ice cream. And I got ice cream for free. And then I go to work and got even more ice cream because I was like, why is there so many boxes of ice cream in the fridge? And they're like, oh, they're free because we had something happen in the morning, and so these are just extras. And I'm like, oh, okay, can I have a box? And the manager's like, yeah, go ahead, take a box. Nobody else wanted to take the box, so you can take it. And there's a lot of boxes. There was like 5. So I was like, cool, I'm just going to take one. And if anybody else wants to take ice cream or a box, they can do so because there's so much. And then I was like, okay, that's so funny. Like, that's so funny that that happened. And like I was talking about yesterday, and yesterday, not at yesterday's. Was it yesterday's? I don't think it was yesterday's. I think it was the one before yesterday's. But I was talking about synchronicities. And it's so funny to me that that synchronicity happened where I got ice cream. The bells were going off, right? The little jingle from, I don't know if you've ever seen like an ice cream person, but like the little bell that they jingle as they're walking through the neighborhood so that you hear that there's ice cream, right? You hear them walking by. And I heard that and I was like, oh my gosh, like I never ever see ice cream people anymore. So that's like a rare occurrence. And then when I go to work, there's ice cream. And I had been craving ice cream sandwiches for the past week, which is so funny to me because, like, I think it's the earth sign in me. I'm a Taurus. I think it's the foodie in me that loves food. And every single time that I'm about to have something, I crave that. And usually I get those things for free. Like, I got this ice cream for free. And I got the box of ice cream for free. And I was literally thinking about getting ice cream the last time I went grocery shopping. And then I was like, you know what? No, I shouldn't do that. And so I just didn't get ice cream because I was like, you know what? Let's be responsible. We don't have to spend money on ice cream. And then boom, I got ice cream. So, and then that had to do with the synchronicities thing. So I was like, oh my gosh, I had the easiest work day. I got ice cream for free. And then I got more ice cream for free. And those might be like small things, right? Quotation marks, small things, but those are actually like, I take those small things as like a bit of confirmation from my future self. Like you're in alignment, and let me show you that you're in alignment. And yes, my cat's calling me. Anyways, so then I leave, and surprisingly, we get everything done within the hour that we're supposed to get everything done. So I didn't stay another 30, 40 minutes at work because we had to close everything down. We actually got out of there at a reasonable amount of time. And besides that, everything went really well. And that I took as in, I was going to wait till tomorrow to talk about this because I was like, let's do it until Friday. And then Friday be like, I've been doing this for the past, whatever days. And I think there was just something so exciting about talking about this specific thing that I was like, maybe let's make it a 2-parter. Let's talk about this today and let's talk about the rest tomorrow. So I also want to talk about some of the things that I do to help my past self receive pieces of information from my future self. Like, for example, I will send visuals because I feel like visuals will honestly help a lot easier because I feel like it's easier to see something than it is to just know something. You know what I mean? Like, it's easier for me to tell you the picture on this card versus me trying to like send you intuitive hints, right? Like 2 things and a wall in the background or something like that, So I've been sending my past self pictures of certain things. Like, I'll look at something and then I'll send that image to my past self. Like, think of this, envision this for no reason. And so in tomorrow's upload, I will be talking about how I send visuals to myself and what the visuals have done for me and some of the things that um also correspond. Like I also astral project into the future, but the part of the future that I'm sending myself to, I'm actually sending back to myself. Like I'm creating this loop, and this feedback loop is actually how you connect the past and the future, and how you're able to connect the past with the future and the future with the past, and um, how you're able to get intuitive hints or intuitive guidance or um, anything of that nature. Like basically, how to fortune tell. You're just sending your future self, or you're sending your past self stuff that your future self is sending to you. And so, with that being said, I'm gonna end this here. Thanks for tuning in and tapping in, my babies. As always, I love you and I appreciate you. And take these with a grain of salt. Always do your own research to come to your own conclusions. Because I'm not your life, I'm not your shoes. And also, so just for reference, just for a frame of reference, I will be talking about how I astral project into the future, and how my past self sends that to, or how my future self sends that to my past, and how they connect to each other, and how to get into that cycle. And so, yeah, I think that's it. And if you're interested in psychology, self-help, science, philosophy, and spirituality, then I recommend subbing or following whatever platform you're finding me on. I have an audio version of the podcast anywhere you can find podcasts, and I have a video version of the podcast on YouTube. They're both named The Spiritual Word. I'm your host, Jackie. I upload Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. And like I said, if any of those topics are something that interests you, then I recommend subbing or following. And that's it. I'll see you in the next one, my babies. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.